Bienvenidos a Caminos Culturales. Yo soy Chuy Martínez. Este programa es dedicado a nuestra comunidad de habla hispana. En este programa exploraremos el arte, la poesía, la música, la historia de nuestra comunidad. Y ahora veamos lo siguiente.
Hasta que me des tu amor. Ya te lo he dicho, en el mundo yo soy solito. Que me acompañe más que una sola esperanza. Pero chinita, no me tengas desconfianza. No llores más por mi amor. Aquí está tu negro santo, aquí está tu adoración.
Bienvenidos a su programa Caminos Culturales. Yo soy Chuy Martínez y este día, o en este programa, tenemos un programa muy especial porque estamos a discutir un poco de la música nuevo mexicana y no nada más de la música nuevo mexicana, pero la historia de algunos de los músicos que se presentarán a hoy. Este es un programa que viene, estamos aquí en la Universidad de Nuevo México. It's part of the UNM Chicano Studies Arte por Vida program.
Muchísimas gracias. Es un honor estar aquí con toda la comunidad, con todos los grandes artistas que tenemos con nosotros.
Muchas gracias. Thank you for. It's been an honor and a pleasure here to the Chicano Arts Study Program to be a part of this because that's who we are. We're Chicanos all the way. Music to me is life. Music means life to me because without music, but say this, in this world there was no music, what would it be like? It would be pretty dark, you know. And so to me music is life, and we need to preserve our culture, our music, and to make life for the young people that are growing and be proud of who we are.
And we have an incredible set of panelists today. We're going to share their love of music in family, community, and the state. So I'm very privileged today to get to introduce Professor Levi Romero. Levi Romero is an accomplished poet, and that is an understatement. Professor Romero is also very deeply committed to the arts in communities throughout the state and really throughout the world. So Chicano Studies is really blessed to have Professor Romero as a professor and poet and writer and mentor and guide.
Santos y buenos días desde Dios. Allá en la morada, las hermanas auxiliares me regañaban cuando les decía yo buenos días. Y me decían, buenos días, ¿cómo que buenos días? Buenos días, dice el diablo, por no mentar a Dios. Sigo con las enseñanzas de mis antepasados y de mis ancianos que me han enseñado lo poquito que aprendí. Me enseñaron mucho más, pero nada más eso es todo lo que aprendí. Gracias, Irene, por tus palabras. Yeah, and I am the blessed and fortunate one to be in a department like Chicana and Chicano Studies. So, en agradecimiento. And thank you, Ashley and Dominique, for inviting me to say some words of introduction to introduce today's panelists and the event today, this morning, and then this evening también. So, sigamos adelante. Chewy asked me to remind you all to turn off your cell phones so that they don't appear in the recording that he's doing. My presentation is entitled La Música del Norte de Nuevo México, an Enduring Legacy, Community Resistance and Resilience through Music and Storytelling. In spite of all the challenges life gives us, the highest forms of resistance and resilience are to celebrate life, family, friendships, and community. Not many things are able to help us create spaces where we can celebrate together como una buena pachanga, porque el dicho es también de gusto se llora, como de tristeza se canta. The music that we danced to in dance halls where you left your problems at the door were ofrendas de celebración. Eran ofrecimientos de gracia gifted to us by musicians who created nurturing and healing spaces where people could dance, watch, and feel the rhythms of the music take over their inhibitions. Como también dice la canción, con la música la luna se desvela. In the villages of northern New Mexico, isolated by geography and distance from the rest of the world, the colloquial musical dialect was best expressed in vernacular articulations composed of song, dance, and in the company of other people. The majority of towns had at least one dance hall, and almost always featured live musicians playing a range of music. Por esas salas retumbaba la música de la frontera del norte de más allá. In my introduction for today's panel presentation, I'm citing only a few of the musicians, venues, and stories I recall. For every region and town has its own musical legacies. Like most bands, these groups start off jamming in someone's garage, 4 guitars plugged into one amp and one microphone shared by 3 singers. I remember it used to be like that in Dixon, everybody fighting for the amp and the microphone. And we only had one amplifier and one microphone, so. And the first song that you all had to learn was, which one? La Bamba. Persistent about pursuing their musical dreams, they went on to play at weddings and graduation receptions, or simply performing for the joy of everyone having made it through one more week. Their fingers picking intricate patterns on the necks of their guitars, their hands calloused from hard work after tending to the ranchitos en hogares, yendo por leña, cocineando, sacando acequias, lavando ropa, empilando pastura, cambiando pañales, escarbando la milpa. Learning and performing songs are a daunting task, but these musicians learn not only to play one style of music, but a variety of genres with equal finesse. The songs in the repertoire express their bicultural manito dexterity, oldies, rock and roll, country, soul, blues, and as that wasn't enough, they also had to appease their audiences with their mastery of rancheras, cumbias, valses, corridos, polkas, y en vez en cuando hasta shortices. And of course, if the occasion called for them, la marcha y la entrega de los novios. They sang corridos that told stories as cautionary tales. Rosita Alvírez, El Hijo Desobediente, Juan Chabasqueado. Their songs borrowed on traditional Mexican acoustic arrangements, redefined through the Mexicano musical interpretations, blurring out from hand-me-down amplifiers and electric guitars in dim-lit bars, clubs, dance halls, throughout, as Clopas Vigil called it, La Nacioncita de las Montañas de la Sangre de Cristo. Local Spanish radio stations as far north as the San Luis Valley announced upcoming weekend bolotes, Un gran baile viernes por la noche en su favorito nightclub. Vengan todos y ahí nos vemos. Back then, just about every town had at least one venue. Venues like the Casanova nightclub, where a very young Los Blue Ventures band was forming its legendary status in the shadows of other músicos de tiempos pasados. Los Purple Haze, Al Hurricane, Tiny Mori, Carolina and Andrea Gallegos, Henry Ortiz, Gregorio Ruiz, Brady Brown, Eddie Reval and the Larks, Socorro Herrera y Los Sueños, and Nuevo Mexico's version of Selena, Debbie, La Chicanita Martinez. The godfather of New Mexico music, Al Hurricane, was born in my hometown. People there still talk about the Sanchez brothers coming down from Ocosaco to play in the Sala Filantropica. Semi-established and up-and-coming musicians of the day played in bars and nightclubs like the Saints and Sinners in Española, El Acapulco nightclub in Peñasco, Martinez Hall in Ranchos de Taos, Herb's Lounge in Arroyo Hondo, Tom's Bar in Mora, the Bottle Shop in Las Vegas, the Rainbow Club in Pecos, and the infamous Red's Lounge in Española, where the local legend has it that a woman dancing with a gentleman during La Cuaresma was noted to have hooked feet. I think I remember dancing with her. The venues created neutral spaces where neighboring town rivals had to behave in accordance with self-imposed acts of tolerance and respect for each other, such as one night when I witnessed the local wallflower locos from various towns standing along the thick adobe walls of the Martinez Hall in Ranchos de Taos. Their voices in the darkened hall were uttered just loud enough to be heard. Each one proclaimed their presence. At that end, Seco, followed by another town, Ranchos, and another, El Prado, Cañones, Talpa, San Cristobal, Valdez. They were all there, and their voices were not loud or brash, but they affirmed their community's presence con respeto y orgullo. And the music played on, and people danced, quitados de pena, or as my tío Fares used to say, miren los baile sin harina. With the decline of live venues to play in, the evolution of a new generation of musicians staked their claim with new and innovative ways of performing and showcasing their music. I can still see El Grupo Sangre Joven playing on the back of a large flatbed truck coming down the street during the Las Vegas 4th of July parade. Their musical intensity and energy evoke the youthful style of la música del norte. I can also still hear my brothers Gerald and Jeff and their band playing in the park's gazebo in the rain later on that afternoon, while some of the hardcore fiesta parranderos hovered around the stage raising their fists after each song, yelling, Otra, Gerald, que no sea la misma. It was a testament to how music can help create spaces of community and belonging. The Daniel Gallegos weekly music segments on Facebook have become a Friday night ritual for many manitos, especially for those of us who live away from our querencias. La música, la plática, la carrilla, los chistes, broadcasted on his social media program fall right into what Tomás Atencio termed el oro del pueblo and Resolana electrónica. La música de Nuevo Mexico continues to evoke the resilience of a people whose isolation should not be written off as a footnote in an academic paper or scholarly journal, examining themes of community, resistance, and resilience through music, storytelling, and how the music has evolved across generations should be considered a great living story, proclaiming a musical, enduring cultural phenomenon. Una rancherita para los peones. Que viva la música de la gente. Gracias.
Max Baca is a Grammy Award-winning musician known for forming a part of the conjunto band of Los Tex-Maniacs, a group he put together in 1997. He is from Albuquerque, New Mexico, specifically the South Valley, and currently operates out of San Antonio, Texas. He plays bajo sexto with Los Tex Maniacs, but also has experience with the accordion, much like his nephew Josh. The same instrument was played by both his father and grandfather and came to be a form of Baca repertoire. He would delve into music from an early on age, starting at just 12 years old. Max Baca and his older brother Jimmy would form the group Los Hermanos Baca. From that point forward, Baca would see a rise in popularity that would take root in New Mexico and eventually spread beyond state lines. In the following years, the creation of Los Tex Maniacs, the group has seen great success with the acquisition of a 2010 Grammy Award for Tejano Album of the Year with Borders y Bailes. They have also been able to collaborate with artists such as Rick Renino and Los Lobos. The group is made of members Max Baca, Josh Baca, Noel Hernandez, and Lorenzo Martinez. Max Baca has recently been able to release his book Crossing Borders, which explores his way into music while providing readers with a look into his life. Please join me in a warm round of applause for Max Baca and Josh Baca.
Thank you so much, Ashley. It is my privilege to introduce the members of Banda Alegre. We have joining us today Felix Sena, Joe Sena, David Sena, Tobias Roybal, and Ben Varela. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'll start by introducing Felix Sena. At 88 years young, Felix is the oldest member of the group. Born and raised in a small village in New Mexico during a time when televisions and people who owned them were few and far between, the radio was his form of entertainment. During those days, AM radio was king, and you could hear stations from long distances. Rancheras and country were his favorite music to listen to. As he grew old enough to go into bars, he'd get together with friends who would play guitar and sing for fun while they were drinking. Most of the songs being ones he heard while he had listened to the radio in his younger days. One day, while Felix was out and about town in Pecos with his son David and one of his bandmates, approached him at a local business to tell him they had found a new singer and he was no longer needed. David had been spending lots of time learning to play guitar by watching other musicians at local dances and by listening to the radio and the family's record collection, and he was becoming confident in his playing. When David heard what the old bandmate told Felix, he answered, "I'm going to start a band, and one day you and all the rest of the guys are going to be asking to play with me." You'll see. Little did they know how true that statement would come to be. As the band gained momentum, Felix was their biggest supporter, and he backed the band not only with money by buying equipment, vehicles to carry equipment, and later on recording studio time, he also fiercely defended his boys. Felix was also the promoter, manager, and music salesperson in charge of all the group's recordings. He kept track of all the band's business dealings and booking arrangements up until a few years ago, when he had a bout of pneumonia in both lungs that landed him in the hospital for a short time. At that time, he passed on all the duties to David. The illness took a toll on Felix's lungs and his body, resulting in him tiring out a bit more easily than he did before. He does not sing as much as he used to, sometimes singing just a song or two during the night, depending on how he feels. But he is always along with the group wherever they go, and he is usually the celebrity everyone wants to talk to. Please join me in welcoming Felix Sena.
All right, next is Joe Sena, the youngest member of Banda Alegre. He first became interested in music as a very young child Seeing and hearing his dad and older brothers play, he started tagging along and with bandolero to help load, unload, and set up equipment. Later on, he would be the sound guy, out in front telling the guys how everything sounded and what should be turned up and turned down. The guys would also let him bring little Casio and play a couple of his tunes during their gigs. That was fun, right? As time went on, he was also allowed to play a few more songs in the group, and finally brought in as the sixth member of the band. That lasted until high school graduation in around 1991, when Bandolero was disbanded. A few months later, Banda Alegre was formed, and they've been together ever since.
Now we'll be introducing David Sena. He is the founding member of Banda Alegre, lead guitarist and lead vocalist. As a child, he grew up listening to his father sing songs and play guitar. He didn't play guitar very much, although his father says differently. But he was able to learn a couple of chords. He also remembers families having huge celebrations which involved music at their parties. His parents would take him with them to these celebrations, and while he was there, he would sit and watch the band members play. He would pay very close attention to how they played their instruments. This always fascinated him. He also loved how the people would really get into the music and dance all night. This got him listening to music more and more until he learned the songs. He would listen to melodies and make up his own sounds on his guitar. At the age of 9 years old, he met other guys that played and decided to put a band together. He's been playing ever since for 40 years and on, and the Spanish music culture back in the days was very traditional and very big, and he notes that it feels that this has changed so much, and we'll talk more about that. Thank you.
All right, next is Tobias Rebon, representing lovely, beautiful Pecos, New Mexico. A special shout out to his beautiful wife, Melinda. They've been together for 43 years. Tobias has been interested in playing the drums since he was 12, maybe 13 years old. And he used to love watching the drummers in marching bands. And when he could, he played an empty lard can as a drum. He strapped it on his belt, grouped together twigs, and he was off. And hasn't stopped since. During his junior year of high school, he played drums in the band. Around 1975, when his family moved to Pecos, he felt like some of the other musicians weren't so fond of him, since he was an outsider. But within some time, he started talking and becoming friends, and then he became the drummer. The band has been together for about 30 years, and together they play a variety of music, including rancheras, cumbias, country, and waltz.
And I will be introducing Latricia Padilla. Latricia was born in Albuquerque in 2005 and raised in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She is the youngest of 3 siblings raised by 2 devoted and supportive parents in a loving, hardworking, faithful Hispanic home. She was brought up reading, writing, and speaking Spanish fluently. At age 11, Latricia discovered a natural passion for playing the guitar. At a young age, she was determined to learn the New Mexico music style and began taking lessons in 2018 with the talented AJ Martinez, who she looks up to as an inspiration and a role model. In September 2022, SJ Records released Latricia's first single entitled Polka Adelina, which was originally recorded and composed by AJ Martinez. Since the release of her first single, Latricia has been given the opportunity to perform at the New Mexico State Fair, Las Vegas Fiestas, Gran Baile of Santa Fe, and the NMHMA Award Show, where Polka de Lina was nominated for Instrumental Song of the Year 2022. Now entering her senior year of high school, Latricia is excited to be releasing her second single entitled Tico Taco, produced by Daniel V. Gallegos of SJ Records. Tico Taco is a polka composed and recorded by the great Tejano accordion player Flaco Jimenez. Latricia is determined and working hard to keep her inherited New Mexican culture alive through her music. She's sure to take the breath away of all New Mexicans and anyone who appreciates the value of what she loves and most wants to continue.
And last but not least, we have Daniel Lee Gallegos. Daniel Lee was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nuevo Mexico. His parents, Mary, Elaine, and Daniel Gallegos, taught their 3 sons to sing and play guitar at a very young age, for which he has been eternally grateful for. Daniel's professional career started at the age of 15 when he and his brother, Lorenzo Miguel, created the band Sangre Joven, which continues to be a popular band in northern New Mexico. Daniel's style of music is in el estilo del norte de Nuevo Mexico, consisting of rancheras, cumbias, valses, corridos, y polkas. He has produced, recorded, and released 21 CDs in the last 32 years. He won awards for Traditional Ranchera Song of the Year, for Tierra Mala, and an award from Los 15 Grandes de Nuevo Mexico 2023, Bilingual Song of the Year, El Cool Dude.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. We're honored to be here with you. And we will start out our discussion. And we wanted to start by asking all of you if you could tell us which instrument you play.
Thomas, we go with the Bandalega and the drummer. Who are you?
I am just somebody that goes with the band everywhere. I do a song once in a while, and I used to dance a lot, because I can dance anything. It doesn't matter what they play, I can dance it. But anyway, I've enjoyed everything. By the way, you were talking about Al Hurricane, and he was my favorite at the time. You know, his mother and my dad are second cousins. My dad's mother and Al Hurricane's grandfather, something like that. Anyway, the grandfathers were the ones that started it all. Okay, thank you.
I am Joe Sena with Bandalega. I play mostly keyboard in the band. Sometimes I jump out and play guitar. Every once in a while, maybe even accordion. Glad to be here with all of you. And I'll pass it on over to my brother here, Josh.
¿Cómo estás todos? I'm Josh Baca. I play button accordion for Grammy-winning Tex Maniacs.
My name is Max Baca, and I play the bajo sexto, which is a 12-string guitar with bass strings and guitar strings. And it was designed as a rhythm instrument to take the place of the accompaniment part of the left side of the accordion. So I've been very blessed to be here with you guys, and it's an honor. And thank you.
Oh boy. You guys know who I am, right? No. I'm David. I'm the instigator of all the stuff with Bandalega and Bandolero. I play guitar. I can play a little bit of keyboard. I can play a little bit of drums. I can play bass. I can play probably any instrument you put in my hand, but Mainly I play guitar, and that's what I do, and I sing. Should I sing you something right now? Tonight?
Yo soy Daniel Gallegos, Daniel Gallegos. It's an honor and pleasure to be with you guys. Thank you guys for being here. I play lead guitar, lead vocals. I do a little bit of keyboards. I play bass. Play 12-string guitar. I play the quinto, 6-string guitars. The only thing I can't play is drums. You gotta have two brains to do that.
I'm Latricia Padilla. Thank you guys for having me, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'm Latricia. I play guitar.
So my family, my mom and dad influenced my music mostly. They weren't professionals, but they used to. My dad knew a few chords. He knew the chord A, Sol, La. That's how I learned D, G, and A. That's all he played. He played those chords, and that's how we learned. Back in the early '80s, late '70s, times have changed. You know, our form of family entertainment back then was actually getting around the kitchen table or in the living room and singing as a family. There was no monopolies or computers or anything like that, cell phones. So we would get together and just jam out as a family. My brothers and I and my sister, and we would jam out music, and then that was our form of family entertainment. You know, I feel that music is so important. It's like piñón or green chili or red chili or bizcochitos. No, you got to put them all in that category. You know, the música ranchera is up there with all that. So yeah, my mom and dad, Daniel and Marilyn Gallegos, que descansen en paz.
Anyways, on the community part, for me, our community in Puerto has always had a rich part of musicians. They had a lot of musicians and really good ones have come out of that town. And luckily for me, I was able to grow up and watch all these guys. One of the guys that was there was our bass player. I used to watch him a lot, but he's not here with us today. But he was in several bands that I really admired, and I used to watch, and I'd hear what they play, and I go home and I'd say, well, I can't play what they play. It doesn't matter. I made it play the way I wanted to play it, and that's my style. But my dad told me one day he wrote a song called Botea that he recorded way back in probably in the late '80s, and he used to sing it all the time. And he pulled the guitar off the wall and he'd play the guitar. But coming to think about it now, he never changed out of the D chord. He always played the whole song in the D chord. He never changed, you know. But one day he came up to me and said, "Here, play me Botea in Re, which is D." I said, "I don't know how that." He said, "Yes, you do." He said, "Play it." So I learned it. I learned that song, and from then on, it was like I didn't know what to learn. Everything was like just sounded so good, and so I learned it all as far as I could, you know. And there was an old man too, an old man that lived in Pecos that took me under his wing, and he was an accordion player. A lot of you guys that are from Pecos remember Ezequiel Lopez, and my dad was real good friends with him. So one day I told my dad, I said, "Dad, can you ask him if I can play with him on Saturday?" And he said, "Yeah." I was now about 9 years old, 8 years old. And we went and played in Villanueva, you know, in this building that looked like a corral, you know. And anyway, that we were playing in there one night, and the next thing you know, the lights went out. And I said, "Dad, what's going on?" You know what I mean? Oh, there was a fight going on. There was balazos and all kinds of stuff, you know. And so my dad got on top of me and tried to save my life, you know what I mean? But that's the community part, and then I started making noise at the house, and then everybody just either they followed me or they told me off. It was either one, but I got where I got, and I didn't expect to get where I am. So thank you to God and my daughters.
I got started in the music because I come from a musical family. My father was an ex-Baca senior,
was born in 1924. And he got started after he came back from the war. He brought an accordion back. And he started playing accordion just, there at the house. And then later on, he started playing professionally. So, but he never got the recognition. He was one of the first to be, I would say, like a pioneer of New Mexico music. He recorded several albums, and I remember as a kid going with him to different radio stations, because back then there was no big recording labels. You record, and then you'd have to go take the CD, or there was no CDs, there were 8 tracks, or 45s or whatever, to the radio station. And I remember going to one of the biggest radio stations in Las Vegas, KNMX, and it had the most the wattage, so he got a lot of airplay there and different radio stations around. Yeah, I remember my dad practicing with his band when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, and my mom would tell me, go sleep with my dad. But my dad would be practicing on the other end of the house, right? So I was just attracted to the music, so I had to get up and sneak out of the bed and sneak out of the room. And I go lay down there and peek my head over beside the wall, and the guys were practicing, and I was really attracted to that. So later on, my dad taught me how to play the accordion, and he taught me 2 songs. And the first song was Monterrey Polka, and then the second song was In the Mood by Glenn Miller on the accordion, 5 years old. So, yeah, that's how I got started. And, my brother, which is my nephew's father, he started playing the accordion after that. And then I switched over to the guitar, and I learned the 3 chords, la primera, segunda, tercera. That's the standard, which is really theoretically, musically 1, 4, 5, But yeah, that's how I got started. And later on, me and my brother just formed a band, Los Hermanos Baca. And my dad kind of stepped down and retired after that, and he became our manager. So, but yeah, I remember playing with my dad's band actually too. I was his bass player. Took me to the pawn shop at about 7, 8 years old, and he says, "You got this bass guitar, it's small one. You like this guitar?" And I said, "Yeah." It was okay. You're gonna have to learn it because next week they need a bass player. So I had to learn it, primera, segunda, tercera, and that's pretty much how I got in Baca Brothers came about. And then later on, I had a big, opportunity after Los Hermanos Baca to join the Texas Tornadoes. Freddie Fender, Flaco Jimenez, Doug Sam, and Augie Myers. And then I was very blessed to have been asked to join the band, and I played and toured with them for 10 years. And then that's how I got started. And but yeah, when I was 5 years old, the accordion, then later on the guitar. But it's the music that my dad played was norteño, called norteño music. And he was listening to the music of back then of like Narciso Martinez, who came from South Texas, and this Tex-Mex, conjunto, norteño, whatever, it came about at the turn of the century when the Germans and the Czechs and the Polish and the Europeans came to America and settled in Mexico, South Texas, New Mexico, different areas, and they brought over the button accordion. Then they would hear the accordion in the radio, the oompa sound that was Germans with it. Then later on they incorporated the bajo sexto, that's what I played, and take place of the accompaniment part of the accordion. And so then they created their own sound called Tex-Mex. And back in the days when the migrant farm workers were working in the fields, picking whatever, cotton or whatever, they would have barn dances or under a tree or whatever, with the lanterns up, whatever, around a campfire or whatever. And so there was just those 2 instruments, the accordion and the bajo sexto. And that's how my dad got influenced by that. And so when he got after the war, he got his accordion and started playing. And next, Baca y su conjunto. And then later on, my little nephew came along. So we've been very honored and blessed to have been in the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. What was it, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, they inducted us with 3 generations, which was my father, Max Baca Sr. He was very popular back in the 60s, the late 50s, early 60s, and recorded 7 albums. And then me and my brother, Jimmy Baca, Los Hermanos Baca, the 2nd generation, and then my nephew, Josh Baca, the 3rd generation.
Can you repeat the question you asked, please?
Absolutely. The question is, how have your communities and families influenced your music? And how has the music influenced your families?
Okay. My name is Josh Baca. I'm the son of Jimmy Baca, Albuquerque accordionist. Well, my community where I come from, of course, there was an accordion in every room in the house. My grandfather played and my dad played. The influence I had was either I sat down and played the accordion or I ran the streets here in Albuquerque, right? I did a little bit of both, but the accordion was what kept me home. It's what made me not become I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to just be a cagadero, right? But, my grandfather was a big influence in my life, and my dad and my uncle, of course, Los Hermanos Baca. I've been playing since I was about 3 years old, and the influence, like I said, it kept me off the streets, and it kept me wanting to play. I joined mariachi class at Albuquerque High School. When I played with Mariachi San Jose, Al Gurule, and all mariachis. I played with a lot of various artists here in New Mexico, Darren Cordova, Al Hurricane, all those people, right? God rest his soul. But man, it's an honor and privilege to be here with each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for all your support, supporting New Mexico music and Chicano music in general. The influence, I guess, would be that I'm able and privileged to take the button accordion all over the world, expressing culture and expressing where I come from. The Texans and the Tejanos, of course, that's where the forefront of the music, New Mexico music, comes from, is from that region. And us, we heard it, we took it under the wing. We started wanting to play music over here. My grandfather was the first man credited to recording the button accordion on vinyl in the state of New Mexico. He also had a big club out here called the Bondsman Lounge. That was a famous club back in the day. He played 7 nights a week, every night, his band. Max Baca y su conjunto norteño. And I take that with me everywhere I go. I represent Albuquerque and New Mexico, wherever I'm at. And I'm 32 years old, and it's been an honor and privilege to be a part of the American Grammys, to be a part of the Smithsonian Folkways archiving Tex-Mex conjunto music and Chicano music to various artists, various people all over. Earlier we were talking, and Daniel goes, "Man, there's Chicanos in Wisconsin." I was like, "Yeah, but they're not supposed to be there. They're just workers, they're homies." But a lot of the stuff we perform is not to Chicanos, is not to Raza. We don't ever play to a lot of our Mexican people, because I'm made in America with Mexican parts. So being American, but I always represent my Raza, Mexican American. I love that. That's who I am. And but it's really honorable and privileged to see an audience that never hears an accordion or hears a bajo sexto or hears Chicano music ever in their life, and they're just looking like, okay, what are these guys going to play? What are they going to do? We've seen Narcos, Mexico. Is that what these guys are? No. When they hear the accordion and the music, and they're hearing it for the first time ever in their life, that right there is the influence that my grandfather paved in my brain, my heart, my soul, for my family, which is the Baca family here in New Mexico. And that right there is just the number one honor that I have and the biggest influence that I have for myself. To see that light up, whoa, wow, this music, I've never heard it, and it's really cool. They become fans, they become friends, and they start venturing out, listening to, well, they come from here. Well, look, there's another similar artist that plays, and then they hear Al Hurricane, and they see Jay Perez, and they hear Flaco Jimenez, and they hear all the various artists from Texas, from New Mexico. So I think that can answer the question a little bit. The influence was just the honor and privilege to want to play, the want to, And speaking of, before I forget, your song Tico Taco, This man played the bajo sexto and bass on the original recording of Floppy Mix. So it's pretty cool to be here with everybody. I love that. I love the culture. I love the food, the people, the music. I love that the younger generation is actually picking up the music and the art and for what it's really supposed to be. You know, it's the music wasn't made to be famous. It wasn't made to sell homes. If someone tells me, "Oh, you got into music to make money," well, then you obviously should just call me a stupid ass to my face. You know? The music that I chose to play music because it's a part of who I am. And if I'm able to tour the world, make a living doing it, that's even a plus on top of that. But it's about expressing who we are as people and as humans. And that's the biggest influence that I have for my community, seeing what was done wrong and what wasn't done wrong and what I can do better and what can't be done better. But sometimes in life, you don't need to add anything that doesn't need to be added to the music, and you don't need to take out anything that doesn't need to be taken out. Just play music for what it is, because there's no such thing as a genre. We're all just one. I heard from this wonderful Cajun man by the name of Mark Savoie told me, if you put everybody in the world in one stadium, all race, all color, anything living that could hear and see, and you put them in one room and you play one song, whether they've heard it or they haven't heard it ever in their life, they're all listening to the same thing at one time. And that's what makes us human. So that's pretty cool to be able to express our culture to different audiences all over.
Well, I guess as a little kid, community first to me was just my house. You know, my dad and my brother were singing since I was a little kid. As we got older, back in the day, Mr. Levi mentioned the Rainbow Club, Pecos. So way back in the day, maybe some of you, most of you probably passed through Pecos at some time. There was 5 bars in Pecos back in the day. You had the Rainbow Club, Casa de Herrera, Casa Nova, the Canyon Bar, and the Lone Star. And every weekend, every bar was hopping. It was full of people. So you could go to a dance. You had different bands playing at each bar, and everybody was having a good time. We ended up at a few of those places, but a lot of the times, people had parties for any reason. These days, maybe a graduation or a wedding. Back in the day, we baptized the baby, let's have a dance. You know, the kid's turning a year old, we're going to have a dance. My son got confirmed, another dance. We'd go along to the dance before I started playing, and I think the nice part that you'd see was the bands. And I'll relate it to, you guys familiar with the movie Selena. When she got up on the stage at that fair, she was able to control the crowd, bring them down, raise them back up. The bands could do that with the people. You can make them move. And the other part of it was watching the people dance. Because back in the day, people went to the dances to dance. They didn't go to the dance to sit at the table and look at their cell phone or talk. They went to dance. And when the band was playing, the people were moving, and it was like one person moving. The people were moving around the same direction on the floor, in step, all together. On the other side, of course, my dad and my brother were the music part of it. You were talking about also the marcha and that type of stuff. My grandpa, his dad, was like the marcha leader in Pecos back in the day. So I used to watch him. The way he could control the people dancing with that marcha, make them follow me all over the place, make all the little loops. I've never seen anybody take a marcha out the way my grandpa used to do it back in the day. Now my niece Michaela over here does it, just in case you guys ever need somebody to lead the marcha for your trip. She does the leading of that too. But it was both sides. You watch the people move, the band made the people move, and then it was kind of a feeding off each other. The band made the people move and feel better, and the more the people moved, the better the band felt and the better the band was playing. You got more animo going on. So the community did it for us that way. And my brother mentioned Siquel. earlier. And that was a lot of the part where all of us, I think, me, Toby, and David, all got our start. Sekel used to have his little makeshift barber shop at his house, a little shop next to his house. And my dad would take me over there for a $2 haircut. The clippers would pull your hair because they weren't oil. And then when he was done, Sekel, if you guys didn't know him, he was a tinkerer. So he used to to build stuff. And so you get your $2 haircut from Sekel, and then he'd tell you, "Ándale, primo, vamos a tocar las canciones." And he pulled his guitar off of the wall that he had put together from parts. And the strings were this far away from the neck, and they just dug into your fingers. And of course, he'd pull out his nice accordion, but he'd put you on the guitar and say, "Acompáñame." And what could you do? So you'd acompañar. But that was the community that kind of formed what we do now. Follow along and enjoy each other, our company, and our time together, because that's one thing that probably is the most precious out of everything is our time. So the time that we have together, let's all enjoy it. Tonight we're going to be spending a little more time with Max and Josh over here. So hopefully you all can make it over there and we'll have another good time. Move as one.
Well, I think that the two boys have said everything that I was going to say, so you know what happened. But anyway, I used to sing a lot with Gregorio and his sons. I was a country singer then. Now Toby took my place. He was better than I am, that's right. And we received some dirty letters from the neighbors there, because when we first started, we were flat, very flat. But we kind of changed that, and they don't write dirty letters anymore, and they don't even speak to us. But anyway, we don't care about that. And my dad, he said, he knew every step. Seems like he was so good at dancing, and I kind of felt that I was. And my niece gave one out of me. And I used to get out of stage and go dance if I wanted to. Show them how sometime David and I would dance up on stage. He says, "This is the way dance goes." So I'm being paid. But anyway, I had no problem with the guys. Once in a while we argue, but not bad, no. I don't know, I never could learn the bass, I never could learn the guitar, but I could sing. And I still can, thank you, for 88 years old.
Well, I remember growing up too, mom and dad and all their friends and cousins, they would party. They would party. And there didn't have to be a reason, I guess we still do that today, huh?
Yeah.
But I remember somebody would bring a guitar, and I would listen to them sing. Even dad and mom would join in singing. Later on, my older brothers, they would play a guitar, or sister on a little bit on the keyboard. But I like the drums. I don't know. And like they mentioned earlier, when mom would empty out a lard container, a metal lard container from a restaurant, that was my drums. And it would last me till the next one came along, because I would beat it up pretty good.
You made it sexy.
Pretty much, yeah. There wasn't any plastic containers back then, they were all metal. The Morel lard and whatever. But then I liked the drums, and I've been playing drums. I played big band, I played jazz band, and then met up with these guys, and that's the way it's been. But I, like somebody mentioned earlier, we play in the garage. practice somewhere, but Mom and Dad never threw us out. They always welcomed us to practice in their home. Of course, they would leave, for a visit, but they let us practice in the house. So, but we had a good time. It was fun, and a lot of people say, how long have you been playing? Well, we've been playing a long time. Man, you guys are rich and famous. Well, we're not really rich and famous. We might be poor and popular. So that's about what it is. But it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it. This group of guys is good. We stuck together for a long time. COVID kind of took a big play into that for us too. We had to cancel the whole summer of gigs that we had, and that kind of put us down and out for a while. But I think we're starting to crawl back out. Things are starting to happen again. So, but I want to thank all my family. I want to thank these guys, my wife, my boys, and everybody for their support, because they've always supported me. They've never said, well, why? They've always supported me through this. So thank you, all of you.
You really dug into your hearts. I mean, these are valuable stories to you. They're of your family, they're of your friends, they're your community. That's really powerful. So, going off of something that you did mention, I would like to shift to an event that changed all of our lives, COVID. My question is, how did the COVID pandemic affect your band and the ways you share music? And how did the COVID pandemic affect your mental health?
Yeah, like I said earlier, we weren't even rehearsing or anything. We would say kind of why, but we would still get together once in a while. But yeah, everything got canceled on us, like I said, and affected everybody. In the music part, we wanted to get together really bad, just to do some rehearsing, but even at that, it was scary for everybody, at that time. But thank God we pulled through, and like I said earlier, things are starting to come around again. But it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough for everybody, the community, and everybody down the line.
I got double pneumonia during COVID. And they took me to the hospital and said, the doctor told me, if you hadn't come here today, he would have taken you. But what he did take was the force I had in my voice. I could go way high, and I can't do it anymore, so that's the effect that he had and what he started.
Well, yeah, of course, everything, the shutdown was a drag. Clubs, everything shut down. My part of it a little more, we weren't getting together to rehearse or, like we say, practice. Our room that we practice in has been the same room since the band started. It's a shack behind my mom and dad's house. A lot of you that have been to Pecos by my mom's house know. For the longest time, we had a dirt floor, and we power it with an extension cord off of my mom and dad's house. But it's a very small room, 8 feet by 10 feet maybe inside the room, for 5 guys and all the equipment set up. And I take up a lot of room just by myself standing there, much less with 2 keyboards set up as well. But anyhow, with that said, my wife, with her job when COVID started, she was doing a big part at her job of all of the contact tracing and that stuff that was going on. So she was seeing the spread and all the craziness that was going on. So when we'd start talking about, hey, you guys, man, I want to get together and jam. And she's, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because, she was seeing, and we didn't know a lot about it at that time. So we were all scared, what was going on. The fortunate part about it for us, the nice thing, being that as long as we've been a band together, with this band and Bandolero before, we've had people that hire us every time they have a party. Every time. We played a wedding last summer. The guy said, this is, I think it was the 4th or 5th time that you guys have played for us. 3 weddings, you played for my brother's graduation, my dad's retirement party. Every time, as long as you guys are around and we have a party, we're calling you. So we actually had a couple of our clients, people that we were going to play for, when everything shut down, they said, you know what? Keep the deposit. As soon as everything opens up, we're on. So that was the fortunate part about, with us, that we were lucky that we had some faithful followers, and they trusted that when it was over, we would still all be able to get together and do it again, and we still do, and we're glad to be able to do it still.
So yes, being a touring musician, and we tour every week all over the world. Really, remember that the year before the pandemic, we played one show in Spain. We flew back and we played a show in New York the next night. 24-hour flight. We got off the plane and played another show. This is our means of living for Tex Maniacs. We tour and play. And so yes, it did affect us, financially, of course. Well, we were privileged enough and honored to be a part of American Grammys, Music Cares, Texas Commission of the Arts, and a lot of different organizations and funding for music that helps take care of us musicians that are traveling and stuff like that. So that took a big fall. We stayed home. I'm not used to being home. We're always gone. We're always on the road. So it was kind of fun for a minute for myself, because I was able to stay home now and spend some time with the family and actually see my children grow a little bit. I'm on the road. I come back, I'm like, oh wow, it's our quinceañera. What the hell? Where was I? It's been mentally. It puts you in your place. It helps you realize, be thankful for what you have, because we're here today and we could be gone tomorrow instantly. Lost a lot of good friends along the way that I've met throughout my career. A lot of old friends and that unfortunately weren't able to be here with us because of COVID, And some family members got COVID. My uncle here, he'll probably tell you his story. And music is therapy. Music is very therapeutic. I don't care who you are in this world. Everybody comes from trauma, some kind of trauma, mental trauma, maybe emotional trauma, maybe family, maybe dads and moms or whatever. Music is a way for me to get away from whatever trauma I've dealt with. Or I can either play music for 4 hours and have fun and not think about what's going on, or I can go sit down with a shrink and end up taking antidepressants and hanging myself in 6 months. That's how I feel. Music is very therapeutic for me. And I take this as a prayer and as my religion. I don't have a religion, but I believe in a higher power and that we do have a creator, and I believe in God. I was a Catholic family, of course, but music is my prayer. This is my church. This is where I go to escape whatever it is emotionally I have in my heart. And I'm able to give off the love I have for music for everyone that loves to hear music, right? So emotionally and mentally, it could park you, and it put me in my place, to realize, be thankful for what I have. Did I come to the gig to do drugs and get drunk, or did I come over here to play music for everybody? Because with music, that comes with the territory. There's drinks, there's drugs, there's everything out there. And so now when I play, my mind is thinking, this is for what it is. I could play today, tomorrow. They could shut down everything, and I could never play again. I played to myself in my living room, which was cool, But I put a beer in every room in the house and went bar hopping. But we've been honored and privileged to be a part of a lot of big time and popular events, and we did a lot of live music, live feeds, and a lot of recordings, you know, where I'm at my house, he's at his house, and our other musicians are at their house, and we're playing all at one time, but in different areas, and that was kind of cool, you know. It took a different form of digital. It digitalized all the music for us, you know. We broke down and bought a new studio, got rid of the old stuff, got a new studio. Now our studio turned into a film and production room. Now it's no longer just a studio. Now we could film in there, we could do music videos and stuff. It took us to a different perspective of music than what we were originally doing. But like I said, you know, music is therapeutic, and it affected us all, you know, because all of our friends and families all over were like, man, we were looking forward to you guys coming back this year to the Richmond Folk Festival. And, you know, I come every year, my families would love to come and see it, but unfortunately my aunt wasn't able to see you this year because she passed away of COVID or something. You know, a lot of email, a lot of messages and letters and stuff. So it made me realize that life is too short. You know, all we have in this world is time. Time is everything. Time is everything. That's musically, that's the way you speak, that's the way you go to grab a cup. You be on time. If I'm off time, I can knock it over. If I'm not, I can do this. You know, music, be on time. If you ain't on time, then you ain't right. Just like the drummer. The drummer's job to keep you on time. If he breaks time, yeah, no, the whole song, forget it. So I'm just grateful enough to be here, standing with everyone. Grateful enough to be able to see my families, and grateful that I still have my uncle, because unfortunately went through a big deal with COVID. He almost died. And I think that answers your question a little bit, right? Yes.
Salud, everybody. So, us as musicians, we play music for a living. That's all we do, 100%. We don't have part-time jobs and then we play on weekends, whatever. We're full-time musicians. So we depend on the gigs, you know. So we have to get out there and hustle gigs, and you know, for the band. So the band, their families depended on us, so we could bring food to the table. So when the pandemic came along and so forth, well, all our gigs for the whole year, we had from February, whatever, March, all the way to December, booked tours, gigs. You know,
we were just nominated.
Yeah. So we all that, the pandemic came and it's gone. Everything canceled. So like, what are we going to do now? You know, we have to pay the mortgage. We have to pay our bills. We have to, you know. So we were able to go do this live, this Facebook, for donations. You know, and I want to thank everybody that donated. You know, we would play, me and my nephew, and they would donate to our Cash App or whatever to help, help us get some food for their family or whatever. So it was rough, the COVID thing, and then I ended up getting COVID, before the vaccines and so forth. And like, El Señor he said he lost his in his lungs, his singing, his vocal, velocity of his power of his voice and stuff. So también that infected me as well. Wiped out my sense of smell and taste. Even today, I can't smell or taste. I can taste salt or sugar or sweet or whatever, but I can smell when it comes and goes. The hints of smelling the food, the tortillas cooking or whatever. But then after I take a bite or whatever, that's it. It's gone. But I ended up in ICU. Yeah, and I was in the ventilator area, whatever, and people were passing away. All the nurses were in shields, and this was it was a nightmare, And so I thought that that's it. I'm on my way out. It's my time. But thanks for my mom and my family and everybody, friends that were praying for me, because si hay un Dios, there is a God, and he was able to save me and pull me through this, and so yeah, I'm very grateful for that. And so all I have is my music. That's, I was born with the music in me, and so I was able to get somewhat of my voice back, and we would do these live feeds, and it was we called it the lunchbox special, and me and my nephew would play every Tuesday, right? Every Wednesday, there you go. 12 noon to 12:30 for 30 minutes, for people that are on their lunch breaks and stuff like that, and they would donate, and that would help out a lot, So we would do that for a while, because we couldn't go play at festivals or at the clubs or whatever, because everything was shut down. So it affected us. I lost my grandmother to COVID, and she was 98, right? Yeah. And a lot of friends that I remember that they passed away because of that. And so, but I'm very grateful that I was able to, gracias a Dios, thanks to all your prayers, everybody, and aquí estoy with these beautiful musicians here. And I want to say something about Banda Alegre, because that word alegre, it's a very powerful word, alegre. Alegre means happy, and when we play alegría, when we play Banda Alegre, Gallegos, and los Tex Maniacs, we play happy. We want alegre. We want to see everybody alegre, and that's what we put out, is happy music, alegre. And there's a lot of bands that you hear on the radio, and man, it's sad. They're playing, it's like sad music, it's slow, whatever. It's cool, but I like alegre, happy, so people want to tap their toes, they want to get up and dance, the polka, whatever, So, okay. Yes.
First of all, I want to say I'm glad nothing happened to you during COVID, bro, because you're one of my idols. You guys are. I watch your movies. For me, I never got COVID. When COVID came in, it scared the hell out of me, because I work as a courier for St. Vincent's Lab in Santa Fe, St. Vincent Hospital, and I was picking up on the order of 300 tests a day that I was handling, and I drive back every day, and Toby's my supervisor, and so we work and play together, as you can see. But I come back and I say, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. We're messing with this stuff like this, Here's a bag with 300-400 tests, take it. It was scary. So when they brought in the vaccinations, and they said, well, all the departments need to line up to go get your vaccinations, bro. They even filmed me on TV, dude. I was on 5th person, bro. And I don't like shots. I hate shots, bro. But I
We
was
don't know
just
what it was.
no.
I still don't know what it was.
Yeah, we're sitting together. I don't know somebody. But going back to also another reason why I play. I don't know why, but since I've been a kid, since I was very young, I didn't feel like I had very much control of anything. I've talked to you guys about it.
Yeah.
I felt out of control. Like I can't get my hand on anything. And when I went to play, I controlled it. You're gonna do what I say you're gonna do. And they did it.
Every time.
And they did it. So now I have something I can control. And along with the music, I became a jokester, because I believed that in order to be with these people are drinking, they're dancing, they're having a good time. They want to laugh.
And you sound better when you drink. And you guys sound better when we drink.
You sound better when we drink.
You look better.
Yeah, what's up to but it's not really that. But I became a jokester. I started telling jokes on stage, and people started laughing, and I said, you know what, there's nothing, and I still tell my audience when we go play, the guys can verify it. I tell the audience, I want to see you smile. I'm not gonna play nothing till I see you guys smile. And do people do it, guys? Yeah. You know, and that's my reason. You know, that's my whole reason. I finally found something I could control and do what I wanted with. And nobody, you know, there's influences all over around me. I said today I want to sit between the two most famous guys. You know, Daniel and Max over here. They're the most famous guys. You know, I'm just one of the guys. But, you know, that's my whole reason, you know. And then one day I get a phone call, you know, I'm picking up tests, COVID tests. I get a phone call from somebody I've never met. I heard of, but I never met, and it's Daniel. He says, hey bro, you want to come and do a Facebook show with me? I go to him, what's a Facebook show? Although I had been watching them, you know, but I said, I don't know, dude, how do you do that? Well, he goes, let me go by your house and we'll check it out. Right. So he came by my house. Again, I'm scared because I don't know who he is. And this is COVID time. So he comes, he says, well, where's your studio, bro? Where do you guys practice? Where do you guys get all those beautiful songs that you guys made? I said, look at that casita right there, bro. It's an Adobe shit, bro. It's got the best acoustics of any nightclub in New Mexico, bro. 12-inch Adobes are great for that, bro. Just let me tell you. But, so I went to his house, and he has a phone propped up like this gentleman right here. And now he tells me, okay, bro, we're gonna sing into this phone. And I'm like, what? No, bro, I can't sing into that. It looks kind of crazy, you know, but. So we made a little joke there, no, but I'm not gonna tell him that joke we made, bro, because it was kind of not too good, no, but. Well, before we started actually playing, you know, he bombarded me with all these songs. He's like, bro, can you play that one that you recorded in? Can you play this one? Can you play that one on the show? Bro, I said, how long do we have? But we did. We got through, bro. And that was the first time during COVID that I had played with somebody, you know, and I had a good time. And I'm not a big electronics person. I don't like, everybody's got a cell phone. I don't like cell phones. I don't like computers. But that was fun. Yeah. And that's my COVID story, bro. This guy helped me out. And for that, bro, I appreciate it.
Well, do I have a story for you on this whole COVID thing? So when COVID hit, you know, I had just finished releasing one of my new albums. I had ordered 1,000 CDs. We had over 100 gigs lined up. I think the count was 113. COVID hits, boom, there goes all our gigs. And this is what I do for a living. So I flipped out financially. It's a disaster. How am I going to pay bills? How am I going to feed my family? Everybody's going to the Walmart and taking all the toilet paper. It's getting out of control. So I'm like really flipping out, and I started getting depressed. I started getting stressed out, and I was like, damn, dude, this is crazy. I started losing friends. I didn't know how to handle it, dude. I seen some of this Facebook Live stuff on the phone and on the computer, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, that's kind of weird. It's kind of tacky. I don't know if I should do it or not. I kind of put it off aside. One day I said, you know what? I'm gonna go live. I'm just gonna pick up my guitar and just hit the live button and let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. I don't know, man. I hit the live button. I did a 2-hour set. 2 hours. I did I don't know how many songs. I asked people, you know, I have a brand new CD. Will you help me? I need help. I need to get rid of all the CDs. All my gigs are canceled, man. Please help me. I was doing it because I was stressed. I was doing it because I was depressed. And let me tell you, it felt so good to just jam my guitar And I had 2,000 people tuning in. 2,000 people were watching me play live. I thought I was playing for northern New Mexico, southern Colorado, you know. I didn't really think about it a lot. But little did I know, there was thousands of people tuning in from Washington, from Seattle, from Hawaii, from Las Vegas, Nevada, to Florida, to Texas. It was out of control. It was really, really out of control. So I made a promise to myself that, and I made a promise to all the fans, to my fans, that I would do a Friday night show every Friday till COVID was over. And I stuck to my word. So every Friday I did a show at 6 o'clock, and I would do it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how the mood was. I'd take a shot and I'd joke around, like you said, and I'd engage with people, you know. And for like the first 10 shows I did it by myself. I did it just by myself. I started seeing the numbers go up. I went from 2,000 people to 4,000 people to 5,000 people. You know, it just started going up. After the 10th show, I started inviting some of my friends. I took a chance, you know, maybe some of them will say yes, some of them will say no. We were all in the same boat as músicos, no. We were all stressed and depressed, and I started inviting some of my friends, and I started seeing the numbers really, really, really go up. So I did it for a whole year. I did 60 shows for a whole year. I sold a ton of CDs, and I'm a winemaker also, certified winemaker. I make choke cherry wine, de todo. And somehow that got out, and, and people were flocking to my house to buy cases of wine. So it was like a blessing from God, and like I was selling wine with a bootlegger on my mom, and selling tons of CDs, and man, money just came in, and people were donating me money. Man, I thank you guys for that. It even brings a tear to my eye, like for reals, that all that happened. So by the 60th show I had 45, I had Dave, this is where I met Latricia, I had AJ Martinez, I had so many different guests. By the end of the 60th show, I had 89,000 people tuning in to watch me play on Friday night. The power of social media is amazing. My fan base went like from here to like here. I'm still meeting people from that. In fact, I met a lady just a little while ago. She goes, I saw you for the Facebook shows. I was like, thank you for your support. Every day, every gig that I have, I meet somebody from those Facebook shows. Little did I know, I thought I was just helping out myself by de-stressing. But little did I know, I was helping out thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there. They were tuning in their living rooms. They would put me on their big screen TVs. They were dancing, and they were sending me messages on Facebook, videos of them dancing in the kitchen, partying in their garages. It was pretty crazy. So for COVID, for me, was like a double-edged sword. You know, it had its bad, but it really, for me, it really had an up for me, because I sold a ton of CDs, I made money, but I helped out a lot of people. I really, really, really did. De-stress, and it was fun, because when I started doing the shows, I wanted to keep it acoustic. I didn't want to go with speakers and microphones and all these things. I kind of wanted to keep that vibe of just keeping it acoustic, because that's how we all started. We didn't all start on the stage with just all the microphones and the speakers and all that. We all started con las guitarras in the living room, con el acordeon, the bajo sexto, and everybody just jamming out, and vámonos recio, and people just calling out songs, and the key of F, let's go. What song are you doing? So yeah, it was amazing. COVID was just pretty crazy story, right?
For me, COVID was really rough. I was in school, I was in 8th grade, and they told us we're gonna be going on spring break, but little did I know that we weren't gonna be coming back. It was a rough time, because it was a transition in my life from middle school to high school, and I still didn't get my freshman year my freshman year was online. And it was so confusing. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know that we weren't gonna be going back. And we barely went back our sophomore year. And everyone was wearing masks, and the teachers were wearing masks as well, and everything was very different. Like I said, it was rough, but it took some getting used to. For my junior year, everything was kind of back to normal, but it never really went back to normal. And let's see, music-wise, like Daniel said, that's where I met him. I was always watching his shows. I was scrolling through Facebook one day, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, look, there's that guy. And I showed my parents, I'm like, look, this is so cool, because we were always at home. You couldn't go anywhere. And it was something that we looked forward to on Friday nights. We would put him on the big screen and we would watch it. And one day, AJ Martinez, as I said, he's my instructor, came to the house and he's like, what are you guys watching? And I'm like, look. And then another time, he called me on the phone. He's like, how would you feel it, those shows you've been watching, if would you like to go? And I'm like, oh, that's super cool. But I was very nervous, of course. So yeah, it was awesome. I went with AJ to Daniel's house, and we played in front of a phone, like he was saying. I was still nervous. There's still people watching from the phone, but it wasn't as bad because it was just you guys in a room playing. I sat there watching, and it was very inspirational to me to watch two people that I really looked up to as musicians playing songs. It was really cool. I took the opportunity I seen how much Daniel was dedicated to how he was helping people, and I really enjoyed, I don't know how to say this. And I seen on the news that there was this Pay It Forward, and on Channel 4, KOB4, and I was like, that's a really good idea to nominate Daniel because he fulfilled his promises, and
so the news came to my house. Right?
Yeah, the news came to his house. He didn't know about it, right?
Right, I was surprised.
Right. And yeah, pretty much that's where it all started my music career. I was already playing guitar for a while, for a few years, but then this is when I started recording, and yeah.
That's all.
Thank you all so much for sharing these testimonios. And I think that it really highlights medicine, right? And I know for a lot of us as community members during that time period, the music was a way for us to feel connected. It was a way for us to continue to feel like we're part of a community, even when we were isolated, right? So thank you all so much. Another round of applause. So we have time for a couple of questions from audience members. If you have someone specific that you'd like to ask a question to, I'll run the mic over to you.
I'll ask, since I'm here. This question is for Grandpa. At what age do you remember hearing music that it enticed you to have that passion with what was going to come next for you as a young man or as a young boy? What age do you remember that happened?
I don't know, something like 14 or on there somewhere. I liked music since then. And I was always listening to different people. They were, even if they weren't playing guitars or anything, just out singing out in the air. They like doing something and singing. I do that now for practice anyway. It's been a long time.
And it's funny because I asked him because my whole life my grandpa has always whistled everywhere. And the story was when I was a baby that I was llorona, I was a colic baby. I was very young. Still young. Okay, I am young. Don't start. I'm gonna start. But that he was the only one that could console my crybaby, my colic, and still to this day, there's something about hearing Grandpa whistle that connects me to home. It's actually one of my favorite parts. But I just wondered how long, he's been enjoying that. I think at a young age too, for just hearing Max talk about his family. I think at a young age, when you know it's in your blood, you just hear any music and you just start dancing, and it lives in your soul and it creates something that nobody can take away from you. And I'm privileged as a young lady to have that my whole life. And I encourage anybody who has young families to bring that into their lives every day and bailar, dance with your kids, sing with your kids. And it'll always nourish them in times that are hard and even times that are super amazing. So I just wanted to make that statement. Thank you.
Now I just want to say something. It was an experience. Now that Michaela said about bailar, that's one of the things here. We're talking about the culture. We're talking about our roots. It's the dances. We went when stuff started letting loose after COVID again. We went to go play for a gig up in Abiquiu at the gym in Joe Ferran Gym in Abiquiu. That's the place where everybody throws their parties. We went for I don't even remember. I think it was a graduation party, and one of the people at the party comes and says, "Hey, you guys play La Varsoviana?" "Yeah, we can play La Varsoviana for you." So my brother starts playing La Varsoviana. And everybody from the oldest person in that room to the youngest kid, little toddlers on the floor, dancing La Varsoviana, perfect. They knew it. So if you know La Varsoviana, if you know those old dances and you got little kids, teach them. Because if not, it's going to go away.
Music is an expression of a feeling. So whatever you're feeling at the moment, it comes with dance, breaking bread, food, and culture, right? And to a sense, the music and the style, it can get erased. It could get erased with time, but I think with our generation and everything in life evolving to man, I mean, I could play a song with you from my home in San Antonio on my phone, Everything evolves, so it's not just the culture. Of course, we want to express the culture to the youth, but also everything evolves. Different genres change, sounds change, music changes. So music is still there, but it's there in their vision, what they're seeing, what they're feeling. So if you can kind of express the culture, but alongside with what they're doing, nowadays the kids, they'll love the music, It's an expression of a feeling, it makes you feel right.
Roots music is music that starts here in our homes, right? From our heart, we form a root, and that root, what does roots do? They grow, right? They grow and they expand, and so it's up to us to take and make that root. And we've been very blessed to have toured the world. We've been to China, representing our music and our culture. And so that root went all the way to China and different places around the world. So it's very important for, like he said, Mr. Sena said, about the younger generation, the kids, apoyarlos en la escuela, and the music. Don't be ashamed of Spanish music or Tex-Mex music or Spanish music, because that's who we are. That's who we are. We're proud of it because that's our culture, and we want the younger generations. Like this young lady, she remembers her grandfather whistling, and that touches her heart. That's a beautiful thing. So I just wanted to express that.
I just wanted to add to my dad's story. You asked about Grandpa, and a lot of times, me and Grandpa are alone because we live right next to each other, so we get together a lot. And he tells me stuff that happened during his life, and he can remember everything about his past. One of the things he told me is, I said, Dad, I said, who taught you how to sing, and who in your family was, inspired you to do this? And he said, you told me that one day that his grandpa used to dig wells, but they didn't dig him with a backhoe or a tractor, they dug him with dynamite. So he said, my grandpa would take me with him. He said every time he blasted a new well, and then he'd take me down to the bottom of the well, and then would make me run up the well, and then run away. And then I stopped and I said, Dad, what does that have to do with what I asked you? My grandpa was always singing and always whistling. And I said, that's where he started. And I remember over at Grandpa Sena's, and my Grandpa Sena's, his dad, we have a lot of uncles and cousins that are musicians, which I played with most of them all my life. But my uncle Leonel, for example, my dad's brother, he'd take out his guitar and we'd be playing, and they said, wait a minute, let me call Frank and Joe. They'll bring the drums and the bass, and call the other guy, he'll bring the PA, and in a couple of hours they had a band going, bro. You know what I mean? But hey, but you don't realize what that is, you know what I mean? And I realize it now. I'm not 20 anymore, I'm 62 now. I'm probably getting ready for retirement. I don't know when. I keep saying I'll get out next year, but I never do. What goes into the music, and people go to the dance, they're all pretty, and they see you guys standing up there, and okay, well, mira que jale tiene, no. Vale, no, bro, it's glamorous. It ain't glamorous, bro. I gotta go now from here. I gotta go set up for 4 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not used to this kind of mics now. Anyway, I gotta have wire, bro. Anyway, we gotta go set up for 2 to 3 hours. Unload the trailer, set it up, put it all pretty so that Mr. Bax Baca can come and play tonight. And then we finish playing, and they're gonna tear everything down, put it back in the trailer, and a 2-hour drive back home. So that puts me at home. I left at 8 o'clock this morning. I'll get home at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. It ain't glamorous, and you don't make money at it. But it gives me a heck of a lot of enjoyment, I used to take these guys. My other daughter lives in South Dakota. She moved away from us. She couldn't handle us no more. I used to take these guys when they were little, and I love cumbia. That's my thing. And I used to move the furniture. All right, come in here. And we put on the cumbia, and I told her, and Miguel, she's the dancer, And she told me, Dad, how do you do that thing where you move your shoulder like that? So I teach her how to dance it and move her shoulders and move her butt at the same time.
The watching machine.
Yeah, we would do that, and that's. It's pretty special to do stuff like that. And it's as you were talking about culture. When I started playing music, there was a lot of, my dad's friends were good at dances. And most of the dancers that we had back in the day, they've all died off, or they don't dance no more. But they would all come to me and say, David, do you know Italiano? Damn, no, what is, so I go back home, I research what Italiano was, and I go back and learn one. So next week I go play again, that same person, David, did you learn Italiano? Yes, I did. So I play it for him. Do you know a chopis? Yes, I do. Do you know a valse? Yes, I do. I had to learn all these songs because that was the culture back then. And a lot of that is getting lost now. I talk in Spanish. Just because I'm talking English right here doesn't mean I don't talk Spanish. I was brought up by my grandparents and my parents. But Grandpa Tanus, he would not talk in English. He didn't know English very well, so we grew up talking the language. And I wish I could sit down with my girls sometime and have a conversation in Spanish. And someday, maybe, you know.
We're working on it.
But let's everybody who's here push somebody to try to bring that culture back, or at least not let it go totally away. Because man, it hurts me a lot. Chicano, Chicana, I believe totally in that. That's what I live for. La raza from here. And if we don't do something about it, I've been talking about this. We talked about it on the radio interview the other day, and if, I think your mic's dying, bro. If we don't keep pushing it in our kids, in our students, I don't care if they're in college or in grade school, if we don't continue to help them, teach them, ¿cómo se hacen los chicharrones? ¿Cómo se hacen los frijoles, mom? We didn't make beans like we make them now, you know. We put lard in them back then. We put lard in the tortillas. Que shortening, ni tráeme shortening, you know. No, it is that way, you know, but bizcochitos, the way they make bizcochitos now, I don't know, bro, I don't even like them. No. But let's not forget that. Let's try to teach that and push somebody to do it, you know, test them. So I know grandkids, they're the ones that are coming up, and the world's changing so much, and so let's try to keep a part of us going, okay? Thank you.